came here really to thank Reverend Jackson for what he did last weekend. This maniac in the White House had announced first that he was going to arrest and deport 1 million family people, not criminals. He said, no, 1 million people from families. And he did that really as a threat. That's when we have to understand this, because he told Pelosi, if you agree to pass laws that will close the border off entirely to those seeking refuge, then I won't go and deport these families and destroy these families in all of y'all's districts. And then she didn't do that. So he said, all right, then I'm going to go ahead and arrest and deport them. But the truth is, by the time he got down to it, they were only going to be able to arrest and deport a few thousand. But the community responded all over this country. Mayors responded and churches responded. You had young people going door to door all over this country and all of our communities saying, these are your rights. Don't open the door unless they got a warrant that's signed by a judge. And if you do get arrested, don't sign anything because we're going to have a way for you to get back out of there and so forth. And the truth is, ICE went to the president and said, these people are too well prepared. It ain't worth our time to go out there. So he called it off, and there wasn't 5 people arrested in the whole country. And that's because the people responded. People responding. What they're doing on the border, actually, we see every day and every week in our neighborhoods that somebody is arrested, some child sees their mother or father taken away by men with guns, and you never get over that. What they've done at the border is evil. It's wicked. They've made a deliberate decision to make people suffer as an example so that other people won't come. That's a deliberate decision was made. There's no reason for these kids to be in cages. There's no reason for all these people to be incarcerated. They've come legally and asked to go through a procedure that would allow them to seek refuge in this country. That's been going on for hundreds of years. That's the foundation of this country. That's that little silly statue that France gave us. That's what that Statue of Liberty, that's what it says, is that you're going to be able to take refuge in this country. So what they've done is just made people suffer. And they not only separated these kids from their parents, they lost their records. They kept no way to be able to reunite them. There are literally now going to be thousands of children who grow up unable and unconnected to their families. Now, in the past, when people would come, you don't come to the United States for the weather. You know what I'm saying? If you're from Latin America, nobody comes to Chicago to go through the winter and stuff like that. You come because, like all of us, when you're in trouble in Chicago, what do? You send your kids back to Mississippi, right? So they won't get into gangs. And if you're in trouble in Mississippi, you send them up to your cousins in Chicago. That's what we do. So that's really all that's going on. They're coming here because they got family here. They're coming here because they got family here. And that's what this Trump administration can't stand. They can't stand the idea of family. There's a war on families of color. And it's real simple why. What does the family produce? When God came to Abraham, what did he do? He said, I'm going to join you with Sarah, and I'm going to make you to be fruitful and multiply. That's how the population comes. And as it tips in this country, in order to keep this a white nation, you have to wage war on families of color. That's what's going on at the border. It's not just refugees coming in. Those are family members. Used to be when they came in and they applied while they were waiting for their application to go, they used to come right up here. We'd see them from Honduras. We'd go down to Waukegan and there'd be 75 kids and we'd bring them together with their families. But their families can't pick them up now because their families got to go through a background check. And anybody in there, so they just cut that off altogether. In the meantime, you have what we've seen, the terrible conditions of kids in their own feces, kids, more than even the physical conditions, and some of them are dying, but even more than the physical conditions. You never get over that trauma of having your mother or your father taken from you, not just for a few weeks, but for a few years, and in some cases, for the rest of their lives. they're grouped now on the other side of the border, and they really need these supplies to survive. They're in makeshift camps, and they're trying to hold themselves together there so that they can make their application and not go back to defeat, because going back means going back to death, and they're willing to try that struggle. But we fight for them because we fight for the family. We fight for the family everywhere that we are. God bless you all.